Hey guys, another video for our How to Do Stuff in Japan playlist. If you come to Japan sometime in the near future, you might notice posters like this one on some restaurants and some random shops around the place. It's a promotion by the Japanese government aimed at reducing the use of cash in Japan. As we've spoken about before, Japanese people love using cash and it's the standard way of doing things here. You might remember we mentioned when buying a house in Japan video that at the settlement for the house there was about $80,000 on the table in cash because the deposit and a few other things that had to be done, they always do it in cash apparently. So $80,000 in cash on the table, and most shops and businesses here, we've recommended it before in our how to playlist, that if you come to Japan it's always better to use cash because more often than not that's what they prefer. But having said that, it seems that there's about 20% of transactions now are cashless. People use things like all sorts of phone apps and all sorts of different payment systems to pay at convenience stores and shops and things now. So slowly it's picking up, but it's still basically 80% of transactions are cash. So the Japanese government's trying to change that. So this system means that well, there's a lot of fine print here, and none of it's in English, sadly. The name, they picked an English name for it to make it sound cool, but there's absolutely no information at all on this in English on the government website. But in amongst the fine print there's a few things. One is that it's a 2% or 5% point system. So 2% or 5% of your sales total goes to you in a credit. But in amongst the other fine print is it also depends on what the vendor uses as a cashless system. So some might allow Visa or MasterCard or all sorts of other payment systems. However, for example, the restaurant that we actually first saw this at would only accept PayPay, which is sort of like a one type of payment system, and they wouldn't accept anything else. So it's not something to get excited about. The other little catch for some of us is you can't use your credit card from overseas. You can only use a Japanese credit card. So not going to be a lot of use for tourists usually, probably, because most of the payment systems they'll accept won't really fit for a visitor to Japan, sadly enough. So yeah, not sure how this will go. For people who always use cashless payments anyway, they probably will do it because they'll get the points. Japanese people love points on their sales. For the people who prefer to use cash, we'll probably just continuing to use cash, probably. So we shall see. We shall see what develops. Anyway, there it was. More videos coming soon.